Greetings, welcome back to the channel. Thanks very much for joining us. Today we've got the Eachine E119 brushed helicopter. So here is the E119 from Eachine. It's a brush motor flybarless helicopter. It's got an 820 motor on as the main motor, and we've got a 615 at the rear there as a tail rotor. The tailbone there is carbon fibre composite, so it's extremely strong and very light, and pretty flexible. The cage on the front here, the canopy is extremely soft and nice and squidgy, so that if you do plough it into the floor, you do not have to worry about it causing any damage. These little grommets here that hold the body clips on, that hold the body shell on, do not lose those when you're taking the body shell off, because they are unbelievably difficult to get back in. Really hard to get back in. This is a fixed pitch aircraft, so there's no flying upside down and tricks and stuff, but it's a very good aircraft for beginners because it's 6-axis stabilised, so it flies pretty much like a drone that doesn't have altitude hold, so pretty easy to fly if you're a beginner. Now the standard pack I got was I think it was $42, and it comes with 4 batteries, 4 of these, and this tiny little 350 milliamp hour battery will last 15-minute flights. I've seen several people get even longer. I'll put a link to RC Escape's channel. He did a video and got 16 minutes 20 seconds from one battery, so it's a really long flyer. Very nice indeed. It weighs almost nothing, about 120 grams or something, really tiny, so you get a really nice long flight time. And with 4 batteries, that's an hour's worth of flying for this little puppy, so it's really worth the money. It's just such a good little fun thing to fly. So let's get it in the air and you can have a look. So battery slots in a little groove there we go. It slides straight in there. Now what you want to do is make sure your cables stay out of the way of your crown gear here, so take your cable and just move it around the front of your landing gear there and then connect it. Just make sure that that wire is as far away from this spur gear as possible, so you're not going to accidentally shred it while you're flying. So it should auto bind straight away, so you can see on that little telemetry screen, hopefully, you've got left and right there on the directions, so you can see that you're actually moving the sticks. These are your trim ports, so if it doesn't fly straight, you can trim it up. Best thing, we need to calibrate the gyro, so make sure it's on a nice flat level surface. Pull them both out and you'll see, I'll do that again so you can see the little red light on the back flashing. There we go, and now she's ready to go, so let's give her a bit of a flight. Okay, here she is. She's going to fight the wind a little bit. I think she needs another calibration. Let's drop her down. Okay. Try and get the light side of her, as it were. Now she is somewhat struggling in the gusts, bless her, but she is only brushed. As I say, it's an 820 motor and a 615 motor in the rear. So we'll wait for these gusts to die down a little bit. I've trimmed her forward a little just to give her that extra punch into the wind, but she won't have too much trouble coming back. There we go, the wind's died down a little bit. Let's see if we can get her hovering for you. Now, considering her weight, she's actually doing quite well punching into the wind like that. She handles very nicely. She's pretty smooth. and you can move her quite slowly. You probably need to do bank turns because she does snap round with the tail quite quickly. But yeah, manoeuvrable little thing. This is classed as an indoor helicopter. I don't think I want to push this indoors because it is quite punchy. You've got quite a lot of speed there. I don't think, unless you've got a really, really big house, I don't think you want to be pushing this indoors. Yeah, manoeuvrable, responsive too. Oh, big gust of wind. You can see her chugging there and heading towards the wind. Just feathering the throttle there, letting her blow back in the wind. Give her a bit of forward throttle and a bit of up throttle just to punch her into the wind there. She's doing alright. Going to keep her pretty low because the wind is gusting. Oh, nearly got away from me there. She's handling really well considering the wind that she's putting up against. I'm quite impressed with this. It's actually good fun to fly too. It's got a range of 50 to 100 meters, but to be honest, more than sort of 50 meters, and this is going to be well, you're not really going to see it. So I wouldn't push it out to that sort of range. 20-25 meters, this sort of range here, enough to see it and have fun. But if you push it much further than that, you're not actually going to see where it is. It will land if it runs out of control range, or if you turn the controller off, it will just land on its own. So it won't fly away, it will just sort of hover to the floor. I'm quite impressed with the length of the battery life. This is the first time I'm flying it, so I don't know what the battery life is yet, but I've seen several videos of very long battery lives, considering this is a rebranding of a WL Toys model that only had a 7.5 minute flight time. So I'm not sure what Eachine have done to it, but they've doubled the flight time on it. It's manoeuvrable, yeah, it's good. Gusting into the wind. The little LED on the back, I'm not sure we'll be able to see that. There's a little red LED on the back. That is your LVC warning. So when that starts flashing, you know that you've got about 30 seconds to a minute before it lands itself. So just be aware of that. And if you're new to flying, best not to run your LiPo batteries all the way down. You want to land them sort of around about 20%. So when you get that LVC warning, it is best to bring it in and do what you can to get it down onto the ground as quickly as possible, so that you don't damage your batteries. Because if you lower your batteries too low, much lower than 20% on a regular basis, you will risk damaging the cells, and therefore that battery will be dead. You'll have to buy a new one. Oh, that was me losing it in the wind and just dropping it. Oh, and flying it into the floor. Okay, first crash test. Let's see what she looks like after the first crash. Okay, no damage whatsoever. Undercarriage still intact. Crown gear there. Motor's still on the back end. Excellent. Okay, let's get back in the air. I'm not going to bore you with a full 15-minute flight. I'll do some montage footage for you of the flight, but I'll put an actual flight time, what I got from my first battery, up on the screen. And if you want to see a full-length flight video, I'll put a link to RC Escape's video. That's a really nice test, and you can see a 16-minute 20-second flight with it. Really quiet too. It's almost silent. Don't know if you'll be able to pick that up on the mic, just how quiet it is. Trying to kill myself. Now remember, if it does start to get away from you, just drop the throttle straight to the floor and it'll land or crash, but it'll hit the deck and you won't lose the aircraft. If you just panic, just drop the throttle and it'll just land like that. Or hopefully like that. Hopefully not nose down. So there we go, that is the E119 from Eachine. That's a really fun little bugger to fly. Really lightweight. It crashes well. I've bounced it into the floor a couple of times. Its range is, I've got it to sort of 50 meters and pretty much couldn't see it, so I brought that back. So it'll do at least 50 meters. If you want to see an unboxing, I will show you one right now, right after this segment, if you want to see exactly what you get in the pack. Other than that, thanks very much for joining us on Southpaw RC. I'll see you next time. So here we are with a quick unboxing, the E119 helicopter, as you can see. So we spin it around. Here are your 4 batteries, 350 milliamp hour each. Get a nice pair of spare props. They both say B on them. Do not worry, don't think someone's issued you the wrong prop. You should have an A and a B. They are both B props because it's a fixed pitch aircraft. And then you get a little screwdriver and a cut spare. There's a spare linkage in there for the top of the helicopter, and I think there's a spare tail rotor as well, which is nice, and of course a little USB charging port.